He arrived in Maple Creek with one thing on his mind: the deal. Daniel Hayes, a 38-year-old real estate executive from Chicago, was used to big numbers, cold negotiations, and quick signatures. Emotions had no place in his world. Yet as his black sedan rolled through the quiet streets of the small Oregon town, something about the stillness unsettled him. The rain had stopped, leaving behind a soft mist that clung to the pine trees and storefronts. If you believe true kindness always finds its way back, please tap the like button now and subscribe to support more stories like this. The deal was supposed to be simple: acquire a small, struggling cafe sitting on prime land by the river. The owner couldn't keep up with the bills, and Daniel's company wanted to replace it with a luxury lodge. Easy money. No emotion. That was the rule. When he stepped inside the Riverside Cafe, a bell above the door chimed softly. The smell of freshly brewed coffee and cinnamon filled the air. Behind the counter stood a woman with warm hazel eyes and silver strands streaking through her chestnut hair. Her name tag read, Clara. "Welcome," she said with a smile that felt too genuine for someone about to lose everything. "You look like you could use a warm cup." Daniel nodded, pulling out his laptop and folders. "I'm here to discuss the property. I believe you received my company's offer." Clara poured coffee into a chipped mug and set it before him. "I did. But this place, it's not just a building to me. It's where my husband and I built our life before he passed. Where we fed people who couldn't pay, and listened to stories that made us all feel a little less alone." Her words caught him off guard. He had expected resistance, maybe anger, but not this quiet grace. Still, business was business. "I understand, ma'am, but sentiment doesn't pay the bills. My offer is fair." She smiled gently. "Maybe. But I'm not sure fairness is always measured in dollars." The conversation ended with polite goodbyes. Daniel left, contract and signed, and told himself it didn't matter. Yet that night, as he sat in his hotel room overlooking the dim river, her words echoed in his mind. Fairness isn't always measured in dollars. The next morning, something compelled him to return, not as a negotiator, but as a customer. He watched Clara greet every stranger as if they were old friends. When a homeless man came in, she served him soup, refusing his crumpled dollar. "No charge, Hank," she said softly. "Just promise me you'll stay warm tonight." Daniel watched in silence. There was something sacred about the way she cared, not out of pity, but out of love. Over the next few days, he came back again and again. He told himself it was about understanding the market, but deep down, he knew the truth: he needed to understand her. Clara told him stories between customers, how her husband, a local carpenter, had built every table in the cafe by hand. How she once dreamed of turning the cafe into a community kitchen. But after he passed away, she'd been holding on alone, barely making it through. Then one evening, as Daniel helped her stack chairs, she asked quietly, "Do you ever wonder what you're really building, Mr. Hayes? I mean, when all the deals are done, what's left?" He couldn't answer. For the first time in years, he realized he didn't know. That night, he didn't return to the hotel. He walked to the river, feeling the wind sting his face as memories surfaced: his father's long hours, his own broken marriage, the trail of people he'd stepped over in his climb to success. The next morning, Daniel made a decision that stunned even himself. He drove back to the cafe, found Clara wiping down the counter, and said simply, "I'm withdrawing the offer." She blinked, surprised. "But, why?" "Because you were right," he said. "Fairness isn't in the numbers. It's in what we leave behind." Weeks later, he returned again. But this time with a different proposal. Not to buy, but to help. He invested his own money to rebuild the cafe into the Riverside Community Kitchen, where anyone could eat, pay what they could, or volunteer. Clara's eyes filled with tears as she whispered, "You didn't have to do this." Daniel smiled. "Maybe I did. Because somewhere along the way, I forgot what love looked like, and you reminded me. Months passed. The cafe buzzed with laughter and warmth. Children colored by the windows, locals shared meals, and Daniel, once a man of ledgers and profit margins, spent his days serving soup, fixing tables, and learning that wealth isn't measured in balance sheets, but in hearts touched. One evening, as the sun painted the river gold, Clara sat across from him with 2 mugs of coffee. "You changed everything, Daniel," she said softly. He shook his head. "No, Clara. You did. I just finally learned to see it." If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us bring more real stories of hope and kindness to the world. We'd love to hear your story. What is the most memorable act of unexpected kindness you have witnessed or received? Share it in the comments below. Because sometimes, the greatest deals in life aren't signed on paper, they're written in compassion, and sealed with love.